of the board and school chaplain, Canon Jacob, acting principal, Ms. Debbie Budam, acting vice principal, Ms. Ria Ali, the Honorable Minister, Camille Robinson Regis, members of the Board of Management, past principals, teachers, staff, parents, friends, well-wishers, and the honorees of today's auspicious occasion, the graduating class of 2024. Today, I am blessed and honored to be with you as I once stood in this very hall 12 years ago. Yes, I'm that old. I remember my first day quite vividly. There were a lot of young women, like me, who came with their ties tied around their necks, excited to be assisted by an older bishop's student. At last, we were all part of the sisterhood we now know and love as the Hilarians. The feeling I had was much like excitement, anxiety, and wonder all wrapped into one. Much like the feeling I have as I share with you now. As you have heard, I am an artist, and even more so, a storyteller. However, my honor this morning is not to paint pretty visuals, or to capture your fascinations with flowery language, but to simply ask, what is your story? This is a question that I usually ask myself before getting to work on a new project, because I believe that the true essence of exceptional art begins with the story. Just like art, our lives are like stories being written, edited, and critiqued. Like art, our lives never truly end until the true purpose for which we were born is accomplished. Why then should we not ask ourselves, what is my story? As I share with you today, I want you to think about it and ponder, what is my story? Not the story of your family, the story of your peers, or the story of where you came from. Ask yourselves, what is my story? Do we have any bookworms here? Anybody like to read? Right, okay, I see a few hands. Anybody like to watch movies? You probably prefer to watch them, right? Good. Not like me. If yes, then you must know that any good story takes time to develop. So you'll learn that I'm a photographer, right? So I'm going to tell you a little bit about photography, just bear with me. Much like a photograph in the darkroom, the film first has to be real in a light tight room, yes, completely dark, loaded into a canister, and then filled with developer fluid. The canister then has to be vigorously shaken to ensure that every inch of the film is effective. Then you wash your film, fix it, and only after the film has gone through all of those processes, it is ready to be seen. The interesting thing, and sometimes crazy thing, about film is that even after going through all those processes, something can still go wrong. The film can be scratched. There could be a light leak causing the film to be exposed before its time, and a whole host of other factors. Like film, you would have gone through a continued journey of processing during your time here at Bishop Anstey High School. Do you remember that? For one, when you just came in, your skirt long, your shirt big, you don't know who's who, but you're happy to be here. Form 2, still getting to know your friends. You probably still don't know who you are, and you're trying to see where you fit into this story. Form 3, pressure starts. Time to choose subjects. What to choose. And Form 4, well, preparation for exams. Then there's 5, where you get no exams. And 6, where you get even more exams. These were all stages of your development, which require time, patience, discipline, finances, parents, you all know what I mean, and commitment. I would even dare to say hard work. The motto says, non sine pulvere prana, which translates to not without the dust of prana. However, we know that it really means that no reward comes without hard work. I encourage you ladies, leaders of tomorrow, to hold on to those qualities that you will have developed right here at school, because those are the skills you will need for your next season. Being a past student of Bishop Anstey High School and Old Hilarion is a great honor. It has happened to me, and I'm sure the other Hilarians in the room can agree, that being a bishop's girl opens doors. I have secured jobs, made valuable connections, and I have been exposed to countless opportunities just because I went to Bishop Anstey High School. However, do not be fooled if you think that being a bishop's girl is enough to get you through life. Being associated with the name may be just enough to get you in the door, but it is your character, your work ethic, and your virtues that will help you to stand the test of time. It is said that you can tell a bishop's girl from a mile away, simply because she carries herself with dignity, she exudes a high level of intelligence, she is very independent, and she possesses exceptional leadership skills. Not to mention, she's beautiful. But when people outside these walls see you, let them see more than just a bishop's girl. Allow them to see a woman who sees herself as a unique part of a bigger picture. A woman who exercises humility and kindness, and a woman with a servant's heart. Beauty and brains doesn't mean a thing if your attitude is not right. Great test results are useless if you don't know how to apply the things you've learned while going through the development process. So I say to you again, non sine pulvere prana. Work hard. Be that girl who doesn't just talk the talk, but also walks the walk. The work has only just begun. Remember that the development process of life is different for everyone. Some of us develop faster than others, and for some of us, it takes us just a little bit longer to go through the process. And that's okay. Some of you may have experienced traumatic speed bumps during this stage that you may have never expected. For example, loss of loved ones, difficulty in your academics, and perhaps the most challenging to date, the COVID-19 pandemic. The world paused, and online learning replaced face-to-face interaction. But guess what? You made it out on the other side. It has been almost 4 years since this global challenge began. If I remember correctly, to get things right. In fact, there were many reasons stacked up against me that could have caused me to fail, but a million more reasons pushing me to succeed. One of my greater challenges was called attention deficit disorder, better known as ADHD, something I was diagnosed with during secondary school. This meant that I had to hear things more than once, and sometimes more than twice, to understand. I was challenged with comprehension, focusing for long periods of time management, and most challenging of all, the ability to test well. I did not take tests well. Exam time was always stressful. As soon as our poetry outside started to blow, I know the pressure was about to start. Thankfully, I got the support of my parents, educational psychologists, and teachers to ensure that this did not hinder my success. Sometimes that meant staying back late with Miss Francois to go over math questions that were taught in class that day, or getting the approval to have extra time to complete exams. This was so that I could completely focus. If it wasn't for the encouragement of my parents and teachers like Miss Fabian, who saw my passion and nurtured it, that is my passion for art, from forms 1 to 5, I may not have been proud to say that I have 7 CNC passes and much more. Another challenge, but a gift in disguise, was leaving my class for 1 year while my family and I was on a military posting in Canada during what was supposed to be my Form 3 year. This, as you all know, is a very pivotal year in one's high school experience. So when I returned to Form 4, I was met with new subjects, friends who had changed and grown up, all without me, and I had to face readjustment to life back in Trinidad. Ladies and gentlemen, it was not easy. Many times I got tired of having to go to lessons every day of every week, including Sundays. There were times when I thought I would fail, but for God and my amazing village. Those two, together with the decision I made to not quit on myself, is what pushed me through. Only when that year in Canada was over, I realized that I was exactly where I needed to be when I was supposed to be there. So in a few years, when you look at how far your other schoolmates have come, don't compare your story to theirs. Don't you dare. Your story and their stories are in completely different books. Books that are still being written. There is no one way or a specific time frame within which we should all accomplish our goals. So stay focused on the story of your life, because that is the best story you can share. When you leave this place called high school and you go your separate ways, remember that community is important. As much as the mantra of today's world will tell you, man is every man for himself, remember that it's okay to rely on others. This does not make you weak. It demonstrates wisdom. An old African proverb I heard quite a lot growing up says, and I quote, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. End quote. In retrospect, I can now appreciate the value of going far with a community of people who have helped me get where I am today. Many times, I do not even have to ask for help. And that is because God sends exactly who I need at the right time. And let me tell you, it's the best feeling, knowing that you're supported by people who genuinely believe in the vision for your life. As an independent woman myself, I sometimes fall victim to that voice telling me, Gabriella, you don't need anybody else but yourself and God. While that may technically hold some truth, your community is an asset. Your community is there to help you, catch you, support you when you cannot support yourself. Trust me, it is not always a flex to say that I did it all by myself. This self-made culture that has festered in our society eventually gets old. Not to mention, very lonely and tired. Anybody here want to be lonely? Oh, I thought so. If you think about it, everything that you know now was taught or has been shared in order for you to live. You didn't just wake up one day with all the knowledge and skills that you have now, but you are brilliant and functional because you were nurtured by the influences around you. Do not forget to show gratitude along the way. So much has been done behind the scenes to make sure that you are sitting here right now. Your parents and guardians may not be able to give you every detail, but they have given more than you will ever know. Your teachers have showed up for you for the last 5 or 6 years of your life, 5 days a week, even when they were not feeling their best. Sometimes, they may have yelled at you to do your homework or corrected you rather sternly when you did something that was out of line. But I assure you, it was done out of love. So why don't we exercise some gratitude right now? May I invite you ladies to stand and turn to your guests. Yes, let us all stand and turn to our guests if we can. And repeat after me. Thank you, parents.
Thank you, parents.
Thank you, teachers.
Thank you, teachers.
Thank you, Bishop Anstey High School.
Thank you, Bishop Anstey High School.
You all may have your seats. At this time, I would like to thank you, Ms. Fabia, Ms. Francois, and all of my teachers for seeing past my talkativeness, easily distracted nature, and for believing in me, sticking with me, and still being some of my very best mentors to this day. Parents, look at your musical bills. They are an extension of your legacy. I wish to congratulate you specifically on a job well done. Let's please give the parents a round of applause. The support that you have given them up until this point is still needed. If you think high school was a big deal, imagine the next 2 years of sixth form, or the next 3 to 5 years of university, or maybe even their first job. These young women need you. They may not say, or they may say rather, now that they want more responsibility, and maybe they say, oh gosh, mommy, give them a space. But that doesn't translate to neglect me. Some of my most challenging times were when I was studying abroad and when I got my first job. These young ladies need to know that you are still there to advise them, support them, and stand with them when things get difficult. At 28 years old, I still call my mommy and my daddy, and yes, I call them mommy and daddy, for advice. And it still encourages me to hear them say, I am proud of you. And you can do this. Parents, pay attention to them when they say, I am passionate about this, not that. Try to observe when they are naturally good. Try to observe what they are naturally good at and nurture that. Try to be open to the fact that what they wanted to be when they were 5 years old may not be the same as who they want to be now. Be discerning when you sense that their mental health may be buckling under the pressure of adulthood, and step in when necessary. Our young women are strong, but they still need your guidance. While you are building lives for yourselves rather, ladies, also remember that a good story must be balanced. Don't just focus on your academics and your careers, but invest time in living. Try the things you always wanted to try. Travel, see the world, meet new people, and spend time investing in others. Volunteer. Some of the best work you will ever produce will be the work you do without the promise of pay. Before I close, I would like to just ask you one more time, what is your story? Class of 2024, know who you are before anyone tries to tell you. Show up. Be excellent in everything that you do. Remember your community and be grateful to the people who have helped you along the way. Focus on being your best self and give back to those who can benefit from your experiences. As women, we have a unique perspective and a valuable contribution to offer wherever we go. Therefore, when we shine and give light to any dark place, it benefits all people, regardless of who they are. The great stories of your lives are just beginning. I wish you nothing but the best. As we step into your next chapter, I would just like to pray for you all. Graduating class of 2024, please stand and hold hands with your sister next to you. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for the graduating class of 2024. God, you have seen them through from forms 1 to 6. God, and we know that you will keep them when they go forward in life. I pray, dear God, that you protect them from all harm and danger, all stray bullets, all robbers and thieves. Dear God, I pray that you keep them and you help them to shine so brightly wherever they go. God, I thank you for their families, the people who they will grow up to make proud. And God, I pray for Bishop Anstey High School, who will continue to foster amazing, strong, beautiful women who will change the world of tomorrow. Ladies, God bless you. And thank you.